Hey guys, today we are talking about the pre-season preparation for Mike's game and how we're going to get him ready and tournament sharp for when those comps begin. So Mike's pretty happy with his swing at the minute and the progression we've been making. So we're obviously going to need to shift up gears a little bit and start moving it into different clubs, looking at driver, etc. What's your current feedback on how do you feel it's going?
Yeah, I think certainly the backswing changes feel good now. As long as I'm sort of attentive when I'm making the swing, make sure I am it's that first move really. If I get it there, then I can feel like it's going to hit the right sort of spot. That new move with the downswing from the top, sort of getting the shoulder away from the chin, that's tougher. But I think I just need to practice.
I think even from the start though, you've probably seen benefits to your ball flight straight away for your game. As soon as you changed the takeaway, you found it pretty easy-ish to start to implement that to the rest of your swing in terms of like a domino effect type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that little thing you did a video on the other week actually with the right palm pressure, definitely with the one-piece takeaway, with that pressure, it does feel like the toe just up it goes pretty easy, you know.
You gave me a little plug there, didn't you? So what we're going to look is, obviously, when are you looking dates-wise when your tournament's going to start?
So we looked obviously before at the fixture list for the season, and for me, the start of in April, I think Manchester's just too wet. I'm not bothered about paddling around the golf course.
Yeah.
So start of May is the second captain's qualifier. So we have two at Sale. We have two 36s over a weekend. The captain's is one of them. You have to play 4 qualifiers. I think like the top however many of each qualifier gets in.
So that top 40.
Potentially top 40. Yeah.
So and then obviously if you've already pre-qualified in the first qualifier, then obviously it's the next 40 who haven't qualified, etc., etc., etc.
Exactly.
So if you're playing enough of them, you get in anyway by default. So obviously to start moving into that, we've talked about from now middle of March until kind of end of April, we're wanting to start to look at the technical parts of still your long game.
Yep.
And then start to look at the technique for pitching and also technique for short game. Just looking purely at it from a technical standpoint, not necessarily looking at lots and lots of outcome performance-based stuff because ground conditions outside aren't where they're going to be when you're playing your comps, particularly the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's the thing for me, for people watching, leading up to the season, what we're going to work on, and then how we sort of, is there a way to try and peak at those tournaments that I want to hit? As I was saying, those 36 hole events are definitely what they're the major board comps that everyone wants to win. Is there a way to peak at those and sort of get your performance?
Well, to start with, what we're going to do is get the technique to as good a position long game wise as we can for that start of the season. So basically, you hit the season, and all we do is monitor where we're at that point because if you want to be performing your best, you can't be going out there with technical swing thoughts.
No, absolutely.
Okay. If you want the handicap to come flying down, etc., you can keep tweaking it throughout the season, but not to the detriment of you performing, hitting good shots, producing good scores. That's not what we want. So we've got to make sure that all the stuff that we're doing is just constantly improving the performance. So getting, obviously, the game as good as we can for that start of that season, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and what we'll do is we'll create a checklist for Mike that'll then he can, when he's going out practicing, keep his own eye on. And then when it comes to see me, we can then start to look at all the other areas in that game. Okay, so I want to then start to shift it up a few gears and start to look at performance practice. So, like what you do on the golf course, you're going out there playing worst ball, different things like this. On the short game area, going out there doing games, making it fun, interactive, maybe bring an element of pressure into the practice. Long game work won't just have technique, but also we'll start to do a lot of ball flight stuff, looking at dispersion patterns. Can you shift the ball flight around? How well can you control it? Also, learning to play with the shot you've got on that day. So there's lots of elements that are going to come into it. But I always say at the start of every week, what we're going to do is we're going to have one practice session where you only think technique after you've had a complete weekend of playing tournament golf. You know, that's what the best in the world are doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for us to get you into the best peak performance we can at the two events, they're looking at it here. They're about a month apart from one another. The two major 36 weekends. What we'll look at is what the weather conditions are going to be like. Because we know what the golf course layout's going to be. So if it's a bit wetter, then we know that you need it a little bit more in the air. It's going to be a little bit more fly on the ball because you're going to be stopping pretty quickly. Things like that. Mm-hmm. And then for me, to get you at your best for then is going to be going out on that golf course and getting used to making a score and being able to used to putting yourself under a little bit of pressure, because if you've already said it means something to you playing in those two, so they are probably the two that you're going to big up in your own mind before you go there, that you've already put the highest level of importance onto it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if you do play well in the first round, for the second round they flip it and you go out in reverse order.
Yeah.
So, there's added pressure of being potentially in like a later group.
Yeah.
So that's obviously additional pressure put on your game,
So it's a case of what we're going to do. So look at pre-shot routines, make sure you've got a really good structure for that, making sure that you do the same thing every time. So we're going to go through all of this. We've got a list of things that we are going to work through and go through out the season looking at. Obviously do videos for you guys on all of those elements.
Wicked, yeah, brilliant.
Should be good?
Yeah, all right, mate, nice.
Here we go. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Look out for more videos with me and Mike. One's coming up pretty soon where we're going to look at the driver. Obviously, that was the major problem club. We're going to take you to see how much of improvement we're already seeing in that club during that next lesson.